Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. And first and foremost, I want to thank each and every one of you for watching my last video, as well as leaving a few comments. Wonderful comments. Holy cow, I didn't expect it. Just incredible. After all this time, the fact that you're sticking around and watching old content, continuing to watch, a lot of the old playthroughs, and yeah, it means a lot. Honestly, I never really thought that there would be a time where potentially thousands of people are watching something that I create, and that's incredible. So again, thank you so very much for that. I wanted to take this time to perhaps answer a few questions that I received in the comments for the last video. First and foremost, I'm not sure where this series will go. I think it's going to mostly be a vlog format or talking head style video series. I've been playing around with also using it as a strafing run replacement, or perhaps its own thing. Like I said, with the SideStrafe chat, which is a play on fireside chats, of course. All the puns intended. But with that, I'm thinking that maybe Strafing Run could be a series where you have me here on camera, and then I cut in some video game footage or movie footage or whatever I want to talk about that day, and create a series out of it. Perhaps even a return to the nostalgia night format. But who knows? Really depends on the time I have to do something like that. Schedule is all over the place, and so I'm at least starting with these vlogs. Released one last Monday. Should be getting this one on a Monday as well, hopefully, to remove some of the Monday blues from your weekly endeavors. But yeah, beyond that, also thanks to those of you that followed me on Twitch. I appreciate it very much. And it was nice chatting with you in a live format over the weekend. Again, I understand that live streaming isn't for everyone. Schedules don't always allow for it. And, live streams can be fairly lengthy and maybe not something that people are looking for, right? But again, thank you for hanging out there. I think it's a nice casual experience. It's a extension of what I discussed in my last video, where I talked about hanging out with friends back in the day, inviting them over or going over to their houses to check out new video games. I think live streaming is similar to that, especially on Twitch, because it's a bit more of a casual platform. You hit a button, you go live, that's it. You don't have to schedule the stream. YouTube seems to want to treat live streams as events. That's not a bad thing, but it's not really for just going live on the fly. And here you kind of have to do a stream, do a long form VOD, a short form VOD. There's like a lot of rules to making sure that your YouTube channel and live stream portions of the channel are successful. So I think I'm going to keep them separate for now. Twitch for casual hangout sessions, live streams, community discussion, interaction, so on and so forth. And then YouTube VODs like this, vlog, strafing runs, nostalgia nights, whatever. Not as much just raw gameplay. I know some of you were commenting on how you enjoyed a lot of my old playthroughs, and they were a lot of fun. Don't get me wrong. I especially have fond memories of the Uncharted 4 and Horizon Zero Dawn playthroughs, Titanfall, Last of Us. Those were great. But playthroughs are challenging to be successful with on YouTube, because the platform is extremely saturated with them, right? And I remember on the Horizon Zero Dawn playthrough, since it was an open world game, spending many hours editing each episode as if it was its own show or movie, right? Like I'd have a little bit of travel, a little bit of dialogue, combat, and I'd cut out lengthy bits of exploration that were perhaps not necessary when it comes to telling the story of the game. But it was challenging because there were a lot of people that had the game early. They were able to just play through it and upload it. I remember one comment I received when doing that playthrough about how They were loving the editing and the playthrough in general, but they just had to see how the game ended. So they said that they watched somebody else's playthrough and that they promised that they would still watch mine when it was done. But since I was uploading a video every other day, and there were playthroughs out there that were done because some individuals had advanced copies, which meant that they could beat the game before the game came out officially, upload it, schedule it, release it, and done. So, yeah, it's challenging to compete with that, right? Like the channel is large, but not that large that I get advanced copies of games and can do playthroughs. And a lot of the editing time was killing me with Horizon, especially being an open world title. I think one time I spent 4 to 5 hours editing a video. And to be fair, I'm a slow video editor. I take a lot of time to make sure everything is perfect. And yeah, being a perfectionist doesn't help with many things in life. It can delay you from achieving success on a regular basis. So I think I put too much into it. And again, playthroughs, too much of it already on YouTube. So I don't see myself necessarily doing that. I might leave playthroughs of single player games to Twitch streams, perhaps. As far as bringing Twitch VODs to YouTube, Twitch still has a quality issue. They limit us to 6,000 bitrate, and for a 1080p stream, that's not a lot of quality, and the encoding is not amazing. 6,000 bitrate is for 1080p. I think a 1080p non-4K Blu-ray disc is like 40,000 Mbps, or sorry, 40 Mbps, 40,000 K bitrate, which, you know, supports just 1080p, and then it's far more, I think, for 4K. I could be wrong about that, but that number is in my mind. So for streaming, 6,000, not enough. So the video quality just doesn't look great. I'm often reminded of a quote from Fellowship of the Ring by Bilbo Baggins, where he's talking to Gandalf about how he feels thin, like butter scraped over too much bread. And so that's my bitrate analogy. The 6K bitrate, not enough to spread across 1080p, which is why if I bring a Twitch VOD to YouTube, it's just not going to look good. And that might not be a big deal because a lot of people are listening to VODs like podcasts or just, you know, something to have on in the background. But I think it would bug me from a quality perspective. So I'm hoping that Twitch will eventually implement AV1 encoding, which is something that YouTube has, something that I believe Amazon supports itself on its Amazon Prime movie streaming service. Amazon, of course, owns Twitch, so you would think that they'd get on that pretty quickly. But I don't feel that Twitch has much streaming competition, so I don't know that they've felt the need to push for that. I don't really know what goes into it. I'm not an engineer. I don't know what kind of financial planning is required to do such a thing, if, you know, there's more money involved or just more time or what. But yeah, AV1 encoding is an encoding process that in some magical way makes lower bitrate streams look better. So I don't know a lot about it, but it's a nice feature to have. I do have a 4070 NVIDIA GPU that will support it on my end, so I can stream in AV1. I'm just waiting for Twitch to roll it out. If they do, I believe they said they will, but we'll see. And I might then be able to move over some VODs and clips into the YouTube channel. Beyond that, still experimenting with the vertical shorts. There's 2 shorts on the channel currently, just some comedic gaming highlights. I think one from Battlefield 2042 and one from Warframe. Yeah. So beyond that, streamed Valheim on Twitch over the weekend, and that's one that I had never played. Still rated as overwhelmingly positive on Steam. I admittedly avoided it for some time simply due to the fact that the graphics were a bit of a turnoff. However, further exploring the game, being in the mood for such a game, I thought I would give it a shot. It was also on sale for $12 during the winter sale on Steam, so I grabbed it. And I've been pleasantly surprised. It's actually a lot of fun. and the graphics have grown on me. It's less of a issue of outdated graphics and more of a visual style. I feel like it's got a nice charm to it. Beautiful lighting. There's a lot of attention to detail in the procedurally generated environments with the trees and the motion and the wind, and you got leaves kind of, flowing through the air and everything. And it's just, I don't know, there's something about it that's just wonderfully charming. And the sound, of course, is incredible. Great ambience when you just hear that wind and the thunderstorms, and you got the lightning and the flashes of light and the waves, kicking up and everything. It's yeah, for me, sound is half of the experience, and so the fact that it has great sound helps, at least in terms of the ambience. It's really nice to hear nature as you traverse Valheim, and that's another big deal for me when it comes to my live streams. I have in every title immersive audio. I always have the audio leveled to a point where you can hear it. So you're not just hearing me, you're hearing the game, the effects, the combat, the ambience. I want it to be an immersive experience, almost an ASMR experience where you're hearing me, but you're also hearing just the wonderful sound design of the various games that I play. Prior to that, I was playing a lot of Sea of Thieves, which kind of got me in the mood for a survival crafting building game. So that's why I'm into Valheim at the moment. So I'll probably keep playing that for a little bit, at least add it to the mix, as well as further exploring other games on Twitch. But, kind of going back to what I was saying about streams not being for everyone, just so you know, if I am streaming a game, I'm not just talking about the game. You might not be interested in the game I'm covering sometimes, but more often than not, it's about creating a hangout experience. There is a game that I am playing, but I'm also talking about a variety of subjects. Often you end up with mini strafing run episodes in a live stream because we start talking about various topics. Like one day I'll be ranting about progression systems in games, or I'll be discussing a movie I just saw, or we'll be bringing up food topics at least once a stream, if not more than that. And so, yeah, there is always a game. You're required to place the game for the streaming category. You can obviously just have things like just chatting or whatever other category. Some of the categories on Twitch have become interesting, to say the least, within the past few years. But for me, it's mostly gaming, occasionally just chatting, or I'll be browsing Steam looking for games to play. But yeah, it's just a hangout experience. It's something you can have on in the background and listen to like a live podcast session, if you will. And I think that's kind of the nice thing about streaming is it feels like an extension of what I talked about in the last video, right? That hangout experience. And for me, I'll just have the Twitch app on my Apple TV box in the background. I'm lurking and just listening more than actually watching or interacting with the chat myself. So I find that streams have their place, and with the VODs, this format, I can do something like this and focus on quality content, but in a different way. But yeah, YouTube streaming itself, it's higher quality, better bit rate. I've experimented with it in the past. Might look into it a little bit more in the future, but it's more of a scheduling process. It's different. It's not as chill. It's not as casual, I think, as Twitch. I don't know that the chat interfaces has been improved since the last time I attempted it, but for now, Twitch for streams, YouTube for these types of VODs, vlogs, strafing runs, nostalgia nights. Who knows what else I'll come up with? But give me some time to figure these things out. I'm trying to create a regular schedule here, on top of continuing my voice acting endeavors. I'm always constantly out there trying to audition. I do have an agent these days, and once in a while they'll send me something. But it's not uncommon for an actor to have multiple agencies sending them work. So as that picks up, my schedule is often all over the place. Sometimes you're on call. Sometimes there's an audition that's due by the end of the day, and you have to jump on it and drop everything else. So I don't want to necessarily create a live stream schedule or a VOD schedule just yet. And I might also have some other opportunities coming my way. So I want to be careful, balance out this channel. I also have another channel, which is just under my real name that I use for some sound design stuff that hasn't really taken off yet. I've not really done much with it anyway, so I'm hesitant to even share it. But it's an idea I had to really just further delve into the world of voice acting and sound design, or sound art, as I tend to refer to it, which is more of an all-encompassing title because, as I may have mentioned in my last video, I like all aspects of sound: the mixing, the mastering, field recording, Foley, you name it. Anything that has to do with sound and its implementation, whether it's linearly in film or more dynamically in video games, it's just something that's incredibly interesting to me. And if I could go back in time, I probably would have attempted to get a degree in sound in some regard. But hindsight, as they say. But, with that, I think moving forward, yeah, I'm just still kind of, tweaking some ideas for what I can do with this channel. Again, part of me feels bad for abandoning it like I did in the past. And, I want to take advantage of the fact that there are wonderful people, supportive people here, still, looking for the content and even rewatching a lot of the old stuff. So again, I very much appreciate that. It absolutely means the world to me that you're willing to stick around. You make this channel what it is. Without you, it's nothing. So again, thank you so much for that. But yeah, beyond that, I think I'm done for the day. I'll probably go back to streaming some Valheim. And so, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much for joining me. Always a pleasure, and I'll see you on the next one.